Welcome to the RIB Show. My name is Caroline Zilani. This is the show where we represent, inspire, and build you for kingdom service. Today we have a really special show for you, and we are going to be discussing on a very controversial topic. We are going to be discussing on singleness, and the church seems to have really embraced singleness and at the same time rebuke it. And this, I mean, they have embraced it in the sense that they are really telling the young generation out there that singleness is important. This is the time that this is the time that you build yourself, your walk with God, you discover who you are, and at the same time rebuking it that the young generation is taking this time to actually pursue career, to pursue their dreams and achievements and ambitions and goals and all this stuff. So I want to pose this question to you, the panel that I have today. Maybe we can start with you, Wale. Do you think, what is your take on this? What is your take on singleness?
To me, I would like to say singleness is important. Because being a time when you're single, you'll be able to set your mind towards what you want to achieve. Like building yourself spiritually, actually, and also knowing your right from the wrong. Yeah.
Vine, maybe you can share with us that. What do you think? What is your take on this? Is singleness important?
Oh yeah, it is very important. I'll give an example with pastor. She's not a pastor, Miss Rudolph in Mortella, Miss Mortella. We had gone out with her, and there was something that she said when Dad was trying to introduce me and Vindra, and then he was like, yeah, my both daughters, they're keeping themselves and all of that. And I remember that she said something very vital. She said, whenever you're single, that is when you're able to focus on God. Because the minute you have a man, you realize that you have your heart for God and you have your heart for your man. So you also have to be there for your man, at the same time you also have to be there for God. But then when you're single, you have everything you are. You don't have to compromise, you don't have to do anything. Every single thing you are, it's for God. So it is very important to be single. Before you get into a relationship, don't get into something that will mess up your mind. Get into something that is firm. But then it is very, very important to be single, because that's the only time you get just you and God, just you and God.
No, I discover. Yeah. Okay, Mary, over to you, Mary. Maybe you can shed some light on this. What is your take?
My take on that, the importance and the advantage of being single is that one thing in life, we are not controlled by the devil. Some people say that it is the work of the devil, but it is not. It's the work of your mindset and how you believe in yourself, with God indirect. So, first of all, being single will be able to build yourself in salvation purpose. Yeah. And as well, maybe if you are eyeing someone or you want to have that person in the future, you're also giving him the time to grow into salvation, so that by the time you get to be together in a relationship, when you tell him it's a no, it will be a no. When you tell him it's a yes, it will be a yes, and that will be good to go.
Yeah. So I think that we all agree that singleness is important, that this is a time to grow yourself, to discover who you are, to spend time with God. So I want to know from you, maybe we'll start with Vine. Do you think, what are the disadvantages of being single? Is there any disadvantages of being single? Let's all be real.
I think
personally,
there are lots of disadvantages of being single, because personally, apart from the fact that we have spiritual life, we also have social life, we also have our friends out there that we talk to and all of that. And sometimes you realize that you go out with your friends, and they're going out with their own boyfriend and all of that, their fiancés, and and to some point you actually want to get to that point whereby you feel like you also want someone, because everyone wants someone to some point, but then I think what matters is that's what makes us different. We need to know what we want, not what we see people do.
Or the society.
Yeah, so there is disadvantage, but then at the end of the day, if you weigh your options, you realize that being single at this point in your life, it's just what is best, even if there is disadvantage.
Oh, and what is your take on what is the disadvantage of being single, on your perspective or your personally?
Thank you. I think I'll just be realistic. In the generation today, the Z generation, is that it doesn't matter whether it's about peer pressure, your parents, being in a relationship is personal. And I'm the one who's going through this. So the disadvantage part of it when I'm not single, as in when I'm single,
Yes.
is that every morning when I wake up, I want those messages. Good morning. That name is what I want to be.
Baby,
Babe,
yeah.
honey, name
Yeah,
them.
okay.
You know, my parents will wake me up. Good morning, my daughter. My friend. Good morning, my dear. My religious friend, they just say, good morning, my sister. I don't want that sister. I want that babe. You know. So those are some of the things. You can just name it as loneliness. But at the same time, you have to realize, as much as you want those things, as much as you want those names, you still have to take your time, so that when that time comes, you enjoy all those names at the right time.
We have not heard from Wale. Wale, what's your perspective on this?
Well, let me first start from this. Being a guy, it's not easy, you know, to be single. Because it is not possible for a guy to not have a friend. Of course, you will be influenced by your friends. Like you are dulling, you know, there are some things you are missing. Come on, yesterday I went out with my chick, we spent so much time, we did this, we did that. But when you are being single as a guy, you'll be thinking like, how I left her somehow. Like you'll be feeling somehow bad inside of you.
Yeah.
But so far you know your stand. Like you know what you want for yourself. You don't want to rush into a relationship just because you see your friends, your peer group, they are into it.
Society.
So you want to like no. Just differentiate yourself for what you are planning ahead for the future. So I think the disadvantage is just between you being influenced with what other people say, what they talk about. No, but don't just worry about that. So far you know your stand. You know why you are being single. You know there are some certain things you want to learn. Why be single? You want to separate yourself from things. So I think it's just good to go.
I think also what you've talked about, like peer pressure. You've talked about something to do with loneliness, and this brings me to my fourth question, which is: do you think someone can be able to acquire sexual purity? Is it even in this our generation that we live in? Is it even possible to live a sexually pure life? We can start with you, Wale. What do you feel?
Thank you so much. Let me first start with this. Last week, I was talking with a certain friend of mine. It was a lady actually. So I was sharing with her, I'm single. She was just laughing at me like, you are crazy. How can you say a guy like you are single? Why is that? So, tell me, is it important to be in a relationship? Say, yes, it's important. Because there are some things you are really missing. As for me, actually she was using herself. As for me, I can't do without this. I can't do without that. But I talked to her like, no. It is your decision.
Yeah.
Don't say because others are doing it, you want to do it. Of course, one can stay away from sexual purity.
So you believe it's possible?
It is possible
to stay
with the Holy Spirit, let me say. Because if you are not filled with the Holy Spirit, don't let me lie to you, it's not. But when you are filled with the Holy Spirit, like you are not thinking otherwise. Let's say for example now, like what my pastor said last week, when you are inside the matatu bus, like they are playing all these kind of songs. You are setting your mind, you are watching it. By the time you step out from the bus, that is what will be in your mind. By the time you look at a lady, you will be thinking of otherwise, thinking of another thing. But for me, what I usually do is this, you know, when I'm inside the matatu bus, I would rather listen to my own music, bow my head down. I won't even look at what they are showing in the matatu. But with that one, you can be able to stay away from me.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe before I want you to answer two questions, Mary and Vine, that he has brought up a point that has triggered this. What are the standards one could set to actually abstain from sexual sin or live a sexually pure life? What are the standards one can set? And of course, answer the first question. Do you think even it's possible in this generation to live a pure sexual life? So maybe over to you, Vine.
Okay. So I think first of all, when I heard that question, because I am Christian and because we live with the Bible standard, it's definitely it's possible because that's what the Bible says. That's biblical. You have to make sure you get married first before you can be able to get into sexual intercourse with your partner. So, but then when you go out there and you go to the world and you try to talk to somebody, people are like, no, it's not. It's not logical. It doesn't even make sense because in this age, But then I feel like it is possible. It depends on your principle as a person. It depends on what you believe in, and it's also safer. Not only is it possible, but it's safer when you do that. Because at the end of the day, because there are a lot of emotions attached to sex and all of that, so it's safer when you do that. So yes, it is possible. And then your question is what are the standards you can set. It's I think first of all, before you actually get into a relationship, you need to know the kind of person you are getting into a relationship. That's why it is very, very advisable that people advise that the church, the standard we have is be with a man who knows God, be with a man who knows the Bible, who knows the teaching, who also believes the same thing you believe. So if you believe that we are not supposed to have sex until marriage, he also believes the same thing. So now you guys work as a team. Because it's different when you're in a relationship. The guy believes it's possible, you believe it's not. It looks like it's just your effort in it. It's just your effort trying to make sure, yes, I'm the one trying to avoid it, he wants it. But then when you be with a guy who knows that it's not possible, we are not doing it, you guys work as a team together and you make sure you achieve a goal without sex before sex before you get married. After you get married.
After you get married. Yes. So a lot of also questions just popping up, and I want to ask, what do you think, as you even is setting a standard, so how far is too far? Because some people will say that kissing is too far, holding hands is too far, with just having we're just kissing maybe without, let's be real, without maybe clothes on. It's too far. So how far is too far? Maybe before we come to you, Mary, I want just to hear from Wale, then over to Mary.
Thank you so much for that question. To that, how far is too far?
Yes.
Toward things that you can do.
That can actually even lead to that sexual sin.
Okay, let me first start with this. What you can't do openly, I guess you should not do it secretly. Do you get that? Like, there are some things you feel like comfortable where you do it openly, and at the same time you can do where people are not there. Let me say, for example, now hug. There is an holy hug. Of course, there's an holy hug. There's a way I can hug this my sister Vine here. She won't feel somehow, and I won't feel anything. But there's some other hugs. Like if I should hug her, there are some things I'm going to, like me say, touch. That might be influencing me to, I want to have sex with her.
Time really flies so fast. And you have really been a great panel, and I want you to just put it out there, what you do, and how can we find you? How can people find you out there? So maybe we can start from over to you, Wale.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Stephen Alawale. I'm a Nigerian. I do photo shooting. I sell phones, laptops, and repair phones and laptops. You can find me on my social media, Stephen, on Facebook actually, Stephen Alawale. And on Twitter, Stephen_Olawale. Thank you.
Vine.
My name is Vine Adwara. I am a student of USIU studying criminology. And apart from being a student, I am also a model. At the same time, I'm a singer. I know I have a lot of
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find me on Instagram, Vine_Miss World. And yes, thank you so much for joining us today.
Mary, where can people find you?
My name is John Mary Jambi, and I'm a singer, I'm a caterer by professional, I'm a receptionist by professional too. And you can find me on Twitter at Mary Malika. You can find me on Facebook at Mary Malika Fabian Baraka or Grace Grace. You can find me on Twitter.
Also,
you can find me on Facebook, on WhatsApp through my number. Yes.
I want to appreciate you once again. You've really been a great panel. And over to you, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, this is the RIP Show with you, Caroline Zelani. Hope to see you next week, same time, same place.